The game design of Hades is criminally underrated, and I didn't even know it existed until 2 weeks ago, but boy am I glad I found it. My name's Cassidy, and since it's the spooky month, fuck it, we're talking about demons, baby. We might even jug in some talk about sexy demons. You know why? Because it's the fucking spooky month! Today, we will be exploring why Hades is so goddamn good by discussing its gameplay, its writing, but unfortunately some pretty big negatives too. And a quick warning, I'll be going into light spoilers and using some gameplay footage in this video, but everything will be from the first few hours of playing. Enjoy the video. Hades has some of the most insanely fun gameplay I've experienced in years. Like, every little aspect the player can control is maximized for enjoyment. This philosophy is pungent in every aspect, from the movement to combat to house decorating? Ooh, new curtains. Hades is a roguelite, meaning the game centers around completing runs to get materials to progressively get stronger so you can get further on the next run. So even if you don't get to the final boss, it doesn't feel like a waste of time, and getting to try out all the different varieties of weapons and abilities is so much fun, because holy shit are there a lot. Runs in Hades consist of progressively clearing out rooms of enemies and being given certain rewards for doing so. The gods of this world, oh yeah, I forgot to say, you're Zagreus, the son of Hades, the god of the underworld. You found out your mum isn't your mum, and to find your real mum, you've got to escape hell, but we'll get to that. Your relatives on Olympus, you know, the gods, want to help you succeed and give you boons, which are a random set of powers. This is one of the many rewards for clearing rooms, such as a Daedalus hammer, darkness, gemstones, keys, money, hearts, boons, or pomegranates. Because we all love pomegranates, right? I hope this shows how crazy different each run can get. Most rooms give you multiple doors to decide which reward you want. You might get money or a Daedalus hammer. Money's great for using at the shop to buy rewards, but a Daedalus hammer changes how your weapon fundamentally works. So instead of just doing an uppercut, now you do an uppercut and slam that big dump truck back into the ground to do even more damage. This choice could be the difference between life and death. These choices give the game a nuclear amount of replayability. With 6 different weapons, 9 gods that give up to 21 different boons, up to 14 different hammer upgrades per weapon, chaos boons and upgrades later, I don't even want to say cause spoils. Every run feels so titanically unique. With so many different options, it's inevitable that some are going to be better than others, but some are just downright overpowered. Like Athena's boons definitely need some work. Her deflect, dash, cast, and attacks are just impossible to pass up. Being able to literally bitch slap any attack back on an enemy is just too powerful. In the same breath, I sigh every time I see a boon from Aphrodite, because despite being a sexy piece of pixels, her abilities just feel like a waste. But while the gameplay is super fun and incredibly addictive, this isn't even the best part of the game. Hades has one of the best and most memorable casts of characters from any game I've ever played. Every one of the 28 different characters you interact with in the game has their own completely unique personality, stories, and reasons for their actions. Even better, they all have little interactions and relations with the other characters, so they'll talk about each other, or to each other, or f***ing murder me, thanks dad! The character writing makes the game feel so immersive and deep. One of my favorite interactions is with Charon, the salesman. All he ever does is speak in groans, but Zagreus responds normally, like this skeleton my grandma looking ass isn't speaking complete gibberish right now. The story starts very simplistic as a journey to find your mother, but as you progress, all these weird little hints start to emerge about your allies, which make you question everyone's motives and intent. Like, why is this person helping me? Are they my friend, or are you just using me for my pomegranates? The main antagonist for the game is your father. He's lied to you about your mother and is actively stopping you from finding her. As you go through runs, mysteries start to unfold, which really expose a lot more characters for their true selves, ultimately putting your father and his actions into a different light. Every time you attempt a run, you get unique dialogue from bosses and NPCs that all evolve off what happened in the previous run. Characters pick up conversations where you last left off. So if you beat a boss, the next time you see them, they'll get extra determined to squash you and your goddamn pomegranates. It might sound like I'm really hamming this up, but the amount of unique dialogue, depth of writing, and just detail is better than any Rockstar, Naughty Dog, or, well, not really Bethesda. Bethesda's kind of dog shit. The story, writing, and attention to detail in this game is unparalleled. So if this much detail and love is put into the variety, writing, and story, why is the level design so boring? Like, holy shit. While I'm in love with this game, I do have some gripes I'd like to touch on, because while near perfect, this game falls so short of being a masterpiece. One of these reasons is the level design. The game has 4 main areas with very different but beautiful aesthetics to each. By the way, I haven't said this yet, but fuck, this game looks sexy. Each area looks incredibly unique and different, but at the end of the day, they're pretty much the same thing. A room to fight bad guys in. Obviously, that's the point of the game, to fight bad guys in a set of rooms. But with so much variety and creativity in every other part of the game, why does the arguably most integral part of the game get left out? Like 10-year-old me at school. There are never any interesting gameplay mechanics put into the world itself or design that really distinguish one area from another. Each area has a different kind of trap, but they still all have traps. The only really interesting piece of level design for me is a volcano vent that throws a smoke grenade on your ass. That's as different as it gets though. If you played Hades, you're probably thinking, wow, what about the last area? Guess what? I'm just about to get into that. You impatient bitch. The last area and final boss really peeved me off, and I want to talk why they suck. So, spoilers for the last area and final boss of the game past this point. You have been warned. The final area has enemies that inflict poison damage that can only be cured by clearing the room or drinking from a weird Harry Potter plant baby. So it seems like in order to make the final level of the game hard, they introduce poison enemies into super tiny rooms so you can't run from them and get poisoned and lose a metric fuck ton of health. And yeah, I said metric. Fuck you, America, and your dumb imperial system. I can't say this enough. I hate poison in video games, and especially in this game. It's just so lazy. Most of the poison enemies are super easy to kill though if you stand in a corner and mash the stab button, making most of this area feel either incredibly frustrating or mind-numbingly boring. This area also has super tanky sniper laser crystals, which makes everything 10 times worse. So now you've trudged through the last area and lost an annoyingly large chunk of health, or maybe even lives, you've got to face off against your father, leading with intense and impactfully gritty, realistic dialogue that falls flat on its face because this boss sucks. This boss feels like you're cooking 5 different meals in one kitchen. There's so many different things to concentrate on at once that slow the final boss fight to a crawl. Between the exploding skulls, shielded enemies, your dad's invisibility, his massive AoE attacks, and the other bullshit he throws, it only leaves these super small windows to actually cause him damage. It might not sound like a big deal because games like Dark Souls are exactly the same, but bosses in Dark Souls never feel tedious. They feel intense, like you're this small fry really fighting for your life. Beating the last area and fighting Hades does not feel fun. By the time I've beaten the final boss of this game, the ultimate battle of father vs son, I don't feel like this super skilled player who's earned the win by overcoming great struggle. I just feel bored. So in conclusion, this game is amazing, and if you haven't, you should definitely try it. While the ending falls short, this game is still one of the best games I've played in a very long time. The value you get is just astronomical. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to support me doing this thing, remember to like and subscribe. Also, leaving a funny comment, telling your friends, all this shit really helps me out. Anyway, thanks for watching.